Hello everyone, and welcome to LostinTranslationmon. This time we'll be covering Digimon Adventure 2020, Episode 12, Lilymon Blossoms. And of course, I'm joined by Quinn.
Howdy.
And Stevie.
I'm here.
Yay! Anyway, so on with the show. At the start of the episode, we get introduced to Palmon, which is in the analyzer, and apparently the flower changes depending on her mood, and Koshiro wonders what the different smells are like. I feel like every week we get a little bit creeped out by Koshiro.
He just wants to invade these Digimon's private spaces and, experiment on them.
Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense, because they are a weird sort of interesting thing, but I feel like Koshiro, it's not as creepy as Koshiro wanting to have a peek on the, through Gaurdromon.
It's not as bad.
Yeah. And we find out that Pyomon is next week.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. I'm excited. I hope she actually gets, Sora and Pyomon get their focus on the episode and not just sort of Sora being there, which is what we've seen so far. Palmon and Mimi have fallen down a trap, and Mimi looks up from where she fell down and calls out to her friends. Palmon tries to extend her vines to reach the top, but it's too high for her to do so. But it's really cute that she tried, and I feel like, instead of just crying and screaming out, she's like, I am Palmon, I have big vines.
Yeah. Well, and I'm really grateful they tried the obvious solution before moving on.
And I like the fact that they actually, that they tried the solution and then they explain why it doesn't work. It's too tall. Mm-hmm. So thank you, writers.
I liked that Palmon was so confident it would work and then so sad when it didn't.
Well, it's kind of been her, go-to whenever there's a solution that's too tall for her, is to extend her vines.
When your only tool is extendable vines, every problem looks like a hill you need to climb quickly. I don't know.
Philosophical.
You tried.
But Mimi is sort of... Palmon doing that is sort of nice, and I like that she seems so disheartened when it doesn't work, and Mimi is then so determined to find a way around, and it's just so nice to see her determined. Mimi's not going to just break down and cry. Mimi is like, okay, we'll find a way out.
Mimi is so good.
Mimi is so good. Meanwhile, the boys are just calling out to Mimi, and Koshiro is translating the words that he took photos of before to see if he can find out about the ruins, and he finds out that there are actually robot Digimon in the ruins.
It was a weapons factory, and the weapons were Digimon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, does that mean Digimon aren't from eggs now?
I think it's more Metal Empire Digimon aren't from eggs.
Okay.
Or, they are in the Virtual Pet series, but in this, it maybe seems that they originate from this ruins.
Have we seen a Digi-Egg yet?
I don't think so.
Maybe it's different, because neither Gaurdromon or Andromon turn back into eggs.
No.
That's true.
They turn into Studio Ghibli.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Everyone listening has watched this.
I know, that's
Presumably.
the joke.
Yeah. Unless they just come to this episode just to know what happened, then sorry about that.
The robots die, at least as much as robots can.
They are Studio Ghibli.
It is just My Neighbor Gaurdromon.
No, it's Princess Mononoke, but it's also Laputa Castle in the Sky. It's not My Neighbor Totoro at all.
No, it's My Neighbor Gaurdromon. I like that more.
I mean,
but
it's
there's
a
no
better title.
He's big and friendly. That's the only reference that you need.
He is in fact shaped like a friend.
He is so friend-shaped.
I care way more about the Gaurdromon in this episode than I did all of Tamers.
Yeah, I care about this Gaurdromon more than I think I've cared about any non-partner Digimon. Oh no, wait, Ogremon. Ogremon was good.
Ogremon was good.
This season so far has been doing a good job of having the Mons of the Week have characters. They're not just sort of there.
I have a complaint about that, but let's get back to the synopsis and I'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
Alright, so a sound birdmon wakes up Andromon, and Mimi's looking around and finds these piles of scrap metal, and they're all from discarded Digimon such as Gaurdromon and Gaurdromon, and this is completely horrifying as a concept.
Yeah.
And Mimi just starts feeling bad for the robots and clears some dust off one, and she smiles at it, and it's this really cute moment of I wiped a little bit of dust away. You're happy now. And it's like, oh, Mimi. Mimi's so sweet.
She's so good.
Clean like a good housewife.
No, she's clean just like a good person. Mimi's not the housewife.
Just because that's my goal doesn't mean, God, apparently that's Miyako's goal.
Yeah. I still like to think that she's actually a super secret hacker. Miyako, not Mimi. Actually, Mimi can be too. That'd be cool.
Me too. God, that'd be so good.
Yeah. Or maybe she's just looking after the kids because she has 7 of them and one's a baby.
Nah, I like them being hacker gals, being hacker pals.
Yeah, super hacker. Okay, that's the headcanon now. Mimi turns around and she sees what's behind her. It's Gaurdromon, who, and this makes just Mimi so precious. She immediately apologized. She's like, "Oh, sorry that we're, if we disturbed you," and then she sort of asks if there's a way out, and it turns out that Gaurdromon just wants to kill her. And Palmon saves Mimi and then evolves with a magical girl transformation to Togemon. And it's really nice to see these. I much rather prefer these animations to the evolution sequences that Greymon and Gaurdromon have. This one, I just really like the magical girl transformation. It's not static, it's unique to the other characters. I completely 100% prefer it to the boring one that Gaurdromon and Greymon have.
Yeah, that's
Greymon's
fair.
is still good.
No, the one that,
Gaurdromon looks a bit funky at the end with the posing.
Yeah, but I just don't like the evolution sequences because everyone has two characters have the same one, and I'm glad that we don't have that for every character. Like some people are complaining that we don't.
Yeah, well, so I feel like they've put a lot more effort into 2 of those characters, and I feel like it shows. But, ignoring that, aesthetically, I was really here for Lilymon.
Yeah.
That being said, I am honestly let down that Metal Greymon did not get the ridiculous body horror.
He got a little bit, and I guess I'll talk about this now, and I didn't notice this when I was watching it, but a lot of people are pointing out that there's Machindramon's head, even though I think it's just Metal Greymon's skull, the metal part, and it's just sort of forming, and I think Metal Greymon is canonically made up of parts from Metal Empire Digimon, so it might just be Mugendramon's head is on his head, but a lot of people are noting that it looks like Mugendramon at one point in his evolution sequence.
I had not noticed that. I'll look for it, though.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either, but there's also screenshots, and it does look like Machindramon's head, except as I said, I feel like it's just because canonically Metal Greymon is made from parts of broken Metal Empire Digimon.
And it's something of an
that's just what his head
allusion
is.
to the original adventure, too, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, he sliced him like an onion.
He really did.
Yeah.
You know what? He took his head for a trophy and then gave it to his weaker self.
Yeah.
That's kind of baller.
Yeah, that is baller. It's like a Cubone.
Yeah, that's the joke I was trying to make and I forgot.
Yeah, and I helped.
Thank you.
No worries. But, so Togemon vows to protect Mimi, but she's stunned by the Gaurdromon's punch, and she reverts to Palmon. Gaurdromon is about to strike Mimi, but Mimi's rescued by Gaurdromon, and this is the Gaurdromon that she cleaned the front of, and he is a lot bigger than I remember Gaurdromon being.
Well, he has to be big to guard things.
Yeah, but I remember Gaurdromon being, maybe just the height of a human.
That sounds about right.
In most other representations, like Digimon World or Digimon Tamers, he has been. Apparently not in this.
Oh, Digimon World's got, Birdramon is small in Digimon World, which is weird. Birdramon and Saberdramon are both the size of the player character. When you have a one of those in your party, when you look at it right next to the human, they're the same size.
Yeah, the scaling's a bit off in Digimon World, but it's just because everything had to be able to fit on the screen.
Yeah. No, this is in Next Order as well.
Oh, well, that's really weird.
That is odd.
Yeah, I had Saberdramon in Next Order, and it is the exact same size as the human, which just looks really maybe smaller. It looks really weird.
I've probably said before that I thought it was Saberdramon, and I was like, what on earth does Sa mean?
Huh.
No other Digimon has Sa before its name.
That's cute. But
That's great, actually.
Within Digimon Adventure, I know that Mega Kabuterimon changes sizes a lot. He's huge, and then he's, not that big, but then he's huge again. Because most of the time you can sort of argue, okay, different Digimon of the same species have different sizes, like in Digimon Next, but with Mega Kabuterimon, it's the same Digimon. Anyway, it's just something that I always notice it's weird with Mega Kabuterimon, is that he changes sizes and he's really inconsistent with his sizing.
Well, yeah, but that's just a 90s anime. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Gaurdromon is called number 2078 by Gaurdromon, so...
Apparently Gaurdromon is extremely cyberpunk.
Yeah.
You're welcome for that terrible joke.
He's
You know, I liked it. I liked it.
He's one more than Cyberpunk.
Oh, so it is.
Turns out that Mimi just has the crest of being the best girl ever and being the nicest person, because Gaurdromon just remembers her kindness, and he saves Mimi and Palmon by dropping some machinery on Andromon. They are able to escape, but Mimi feels super helpless because Palmon is in pain, and why does Palmon seem to almost die in her evolution episodes so far?
You're not wrong. Also, this is where my complaint comes in, because it...
Oh, yes?
Yeah, she wiped some dust off the Gaurdromon, and so now he's gonna protect her forever.
I kind of like that. I know, but it's kind of nice to see, you know, he's probably not seen any kindness. He's probably been down there with dust on his face, being sad, and then somebody comes along and, you know, wipes a bit of dust off his face. I think that's nice.
I mean, I think it's nice.
It's quite possible this got... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Stevie, go ahead. Okay. I was gonna say, if this had been a two-part thing and Gaurdromon had joined the team for a bit and we'd gotten to, like, care about Gaurdromon a little bit first, I'd be way more here for this.
Oh yeah, I agree. It was definitely like a bit rushed.
Gaurdromon's a red shirt, not for me.
I really liked it.
Like, it's good.
It's
just not super impactful because Gaurdromon's around for all of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I liked it.
But I get him like latching onto Mimi because it's quite possible his only intact memory is of Mimi's kindness towards him.
I mean,
it's kind of like when the baby opens his eyes for the first time and the baby sees the mother.
I was gonna go with it's literally the Iron Giant.
I've not seen that.
I still need to watch it.
Neither of you have.
It's come up twice now.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's good.
Meanwhile, Taichi and Agumon are climbing down the hole as Koshiro and Tentomon fly down, and I really like that sort of, you know, Taichi is sort of like the adventurous type. He's climbing down, and we've just got Tentomon carrying Koshiro, and Koshiro's on his little iPad trying to find out information about the ruins. I just really like this imagery.
I love partner monsters carrying the partner children. Just in anything.
It is cute. And also makes them seem like the Digimon aren't just sort of there. They're actually participating.
I said it originally as a joke, but I honestly kind of wish that Izzy had dropped his laptop during this.
Oh, yeah, I really want that too. I feel like it's going to have to break at one point, and he's going to have to rely on, like, not looking up everything he sees. I feel like that's going to be his, like,
I mean, I think we
evolution.
foreshadowed that today.
Yeah, his laptop was on the fritz. So his evolution episode is probably going to be, I have to rely on my own knowledge. Oh good, it still works.
Yeah, I kind of hope that's it, because that seems like a really good representation.
Yeah, well, and it's a bit of actual growth for the kid who has so far been the font of all knowledge because he owns a computer.
Yeah, like, it's very much sort of, is he smart because he has, like, the computer, or is he smart because he's actually smart? Like, anyone can look up something and Google something and seem like an immediate genius. But if they're taken away from, like, anything that they can Google something with, are they still smart? So I feel like that would be his focus of his evolution episode.
I'd be there for that.
Anyway, so Gaurdromon has brought Palmon and Mimi down to some underground lake, and this whole scene just really reminds me of Princess Mononoke. Like, the two people are brought to the an island in the middle of a magic lake, and by some magical thing, and she immediately starts trying to heal the person who's injured.
Or the plant.
It's very this whole episode has a lot of Studio Ghibli imagery, and it's just really nice. And I mentioned this in my blog review earlier, yesterday, that it's a really nice sort of contrast between the cold ruins and the sort of flowery imagery that Mimi and Palmon have. So there's a sort of, you know, this cold, empty, deserted ruins, and it's all very sort of grey and brown. And then we have Mimi come along, and everything's green and has flowers. And it's just it's kind of nice because they sort of contrast rather well. There's, you know, as I said, dark area and bright girl.
Yeah, no, it was surprisingly artful for Digimon.
Yeah, this was very pretty as an episode. It was just nice to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gaurdromon offers Mimi a flower, and she thanks him, and Mimi asks Gaurdromon if he knows the way out, which he does. However, Andromon is freed.
Gaurdromon if the flower is real.
Yeah, which is important.
It's very important.
The flower is real, obviously.
Andromon's freed from the machinery and wants to eliminate Mimi. So, I don't know, it's immediately like, oh no, Andromon's freed, but it's sort of like a nice moment before it. Meanwhile, we see what the other group is doing, and Gaurdromon is flying them along. Sora is concerned about Neymon's group, and Joe is airsick, which is very, very, very on brand for Joe, and I'm glad it's not just seasick, it's just everything sick.
That's a mood.
It's also something I've always wondered, if, like, could you get airsick on Gaurdromon? And I guess the answer is yes.
Also, I really appreciated that they're all sitting on a log that Gaurdromon is carrying. That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
And
I like
seems
that.
very uncomfortable and extremely unsafe.
Well, she had a basket that had all the kids in it last episode. I guess the basket got destroyed.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember, but fair.
But if they got a basket, why couldn't they just get a second basket? This one just seems uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think
I don't
this
know
was
where they
much
got the
easier to
first one.
animate.
But I think they're all happy, so no one's complaining it's not comfortable, but I guess the other choice is being burnt alive.
Yeah.
So then we see what Taichi and Koshiro are doing, and they've made it down the hole. They see a sound Gaurdromon, and they're suddenly surrounded by Gaurdromon, who wants them to keep away from Mimi because Mimi is having her own episode, and we don't want any of this Taichi and Koshiro rescuing her business going on here.
Yeah.
So Agumon evolves to Greymon in an animated sequence and fights them off, and it seems really unnecessary to evolve to Greymon when they're just sort of very broken child-level Digimon.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, but also the evolution sequence it's being here just makes it seem like, I don't know,
It definitely
we have like a
distracted
minute.
from Mimi.
Yeah, but it's also distraction from Mimi.
I think they just digivolved him there so they didn't do back-to-back to go to Greymon and Metal Greymon later.
I'm just
Yeah.
not sure we needed them at all.
Yeah, I mean, Metal Greymon was arguably there to later hold up the machinery that could have smushed the kids, but
It's highly
at least
like
that's all he did.
it's highly likely we're going to keep seeing Metal Greymon and Gaurdromon now for a while, like every episode.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's might be my complaint with a lot of Digimon, that all the kids are able to evolve and then they don't when they should. I feel like if you had the opportunity to evolve to your highest form,
You probably
You
would
should take
every
it.
time, yeah.
yeah, so that's something that I don't mind because it makes sense. And as I said, it's been something I've complained about in Digimon for a long time. It's just why, it's like, it seems that no one can evolve in another Digimon's evolution episode most of the time, or in an episode that functions, like, features around and completely on one child, all the other characters become just not able to evolve for either they give a reason or they just don't give a reason and hope you don't notice. So it makes sense that we would get Metal Greymon because we are fighting Andromon, who is an ultimate level, and no one else can evolve to ultimate. So
That's fair.
if given the choice, would you not try to save your friends with an ultimate level? Like, I can
think
understand
under
that.
the circumstances, we should have just given them short version.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
should
what
have been like...
that's what I mean. Like, I don't mind them being there. It's more that it subtracts from episode time for the actual like character that is supposed to be about them. And then you've got 2 minutes of Agumon to Greymon to Metal Greymon taken
Yeah,
out
I mean,
of it.
I still think all the characters were meant to have these evolution sequences, but maybe they didn't get time to animate them because of COVID. But it still seems weird that we don't all get the body horror evolution, which I actually prefer the body horror evolution to the evolution sequence. I will say this for the entire series, that I don't like the stock footage evolution sequences because they're all the same for every character and it doesn't really make sense for them to be. I like the fact that Palmon's got a magical girl evolution much more than I would have her spinning around in circles and then evolving to Togemon.
Yeah, it makes more sense for her like flower blooming thing. And
Yeah.
it's good. Whereas like Agumon and Gabumon's just feel like Digimon World 1 on the PS1.
Yeah.
Where it's just they shatter the textures and then they get a new wireframe and they're bigger now.
Yeah.
That'd do it.
Which is
Yeah,
fine.
I would much prefer no evolution sequences, and just sort of everyone has their own sort of quick body horror version. I don't know. So Gaurdromon takes Mimi and Palmon to an elevator, but Andromon breaks through the door before it closes because we were about to have another Studio Ghibli sort of imagery moment with being in a lift with a giant weird-looking guy, but Andromon was not here for that, so he broke through the door. Or he pulled the door open, rather. Gaurdromon begins fighting Andromon and tries to break off more machinery to crush and slow Andromon down again, but Gaurdromon is struck by Andromon's attack and his eyes fizzle out like someone stepped on a Furby. Really, I'm serious. The skinned Furbies look identical to Gaurdromon.
What?
I love it. I'm gonna need to look this up.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who do like custom Furby skin, like
Sure.
Furby fur, and a lot of the time, and especially the newer ones, which do have these sort of LED sort of.
Sorry, you said custom Furby skins, and now I'm thinking about someone going out hunting and skinning Furbies.
Yep, that's basically what it happens. So the newer ones have sort of LCD eyes, and it just sort of reminds me of Gaurdromon's eyes in this. So Gaurdromon just looks like a giant, like, skinned Furby.
I feel like giant skinned Furby is a real runner for the episode title.
Yeah, it works. But he just does. That's all I can think of. It's just like, oh no, that's horrifying.
So I don't pay attention to the weird digicode stuff that they do. Do we have any idea what Gaurdromon's eye HUD thing said?
I don't know digicode.
Okay.
I'd have to
Even
look
though
it
I've
up.
got some on my leg.
I was gonna say, I
know
assume that you do, but fair.
No, I know what the one on my leg says, which is Digital Monster.
That's
but
fair.
That's the only digicode that I know. The one that's around the Holy Ring and the one that's around the Digivice just says Digital Monster. That's my extent.
That's
I
fair.
probably
Well,
could
listeners,
translate
if you know-
it, but I'd miss half of this podcast recording,
Yeah.
so I might do it later.
Yeah, someone please tell me, because I'm curious.
I mean, on the Japanese D terminal, they do have a translation for the digicode to hiragana, so I could just grab that out and look. But like there are so many people who just like go through and translate all the digicode that I just feel like, well, why not just let them do it?
Yep, I'm completely fine with that. I would like to know the
Yeah.
answer, but not enough to spend any amount of time finding out.
Oh yeah, me too. I was like, well, I could do that, but
Well, what if I
someone
didn't?
else would do it, and two, I've got other stuff to do. I had Splatoon to play yesterday. Koshiro and Kabuterimon show up, and Taichi and Greymon are far behind, still fighting the Hagurumon. Kabuterimon's fighting Andromon, which the original Kabuterimon, and I felt like noting this, is that he was able to beat the Andromon along with the group in his original season's evolution episode, but this time he's not lucky at all and just reverts to Tentomon. So last time it was Gaurdromon, Gaurdromon, and Greymon, and Kabuterimon, I think, and Kabuterimon sort of did the final blow.
What happened in the original series is Gaurdromon and Greymon were fighting Andromon, getting wrecked, and then
Yeah.
Kabuterimon just electroshocked the black gear out of it. So they didn't defeat him, they just
Yeah.
removed the thing that was making him evil.
Yeah.
So they couldn't beat Andromon in the original series.
Yeah.
But he got totally wrecked here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, there wasn't any room to
But-
like fly away from him, unlike
Yeah.
the like original series where they had all the room in the world.
Also, I know we'll
I
talk about this
actually-
later, but
I appreciate
Andromon
that we
also-
did come back to effectively the Ruins episode, but in a much better twist.
yeah. Well, there's
Anyway.
no Centauramon episode
That's
in
fair.
Centauramon in this episode. But as I said, we'll talk about this later more, I'm sure. But it's also interesting to note that Andromon will not be coming back, presumably, as a character that they are friends with.
Yeah, that was
Why
wild.
ever not?
They will not be taking photos with Andromon's head.
Did something happen to Andromon?
Spoilers, I guess. Anyway, so Greymon and Taichi show up to save the day. Greymon evolves his stock footage animation to Metal Greymon, and before I was mentioning how some people see Mugendramon, as I said, I can see it, but I don't think it's like this sort of hint at anything. It could be, but I think it's just because it's his head. But this is annoying because this is a Mimi episode, so hopefully I'm just hoping that Metal Greymon dies immediately. Palmon is awake again, asks Mimi to evolve, and she does in a quick flash instead of any animation, which is fair. We don't have time for any more evolution sequences because Greymon took it all up.
Yeah, she digivolved earlier.
Yeah, and we also got an evolution before earlier, so that's fine.
That's valid.
Despite everyone fighting, Andromon is still able to stand. Andromon attacks, and Togemon and Metal
Sorry.
Greymon both save... Yep.
Standromon.
Standromon, yes.
Continue.
Yeah, thank you. Please interrupt me if you have puns. Andromon attacks, Togemon and Metal Greymon both save the children by holding the machinery above their heads, and Togemon looks way cooler doing it though. That Metal Greymon's kind of like just there, sort of squishing him on the back, but Togemon's doing it with her hands, with her little...
Yeah,
well, not with her
Togemon
hands,
got
with her
that
gloves. Yeah. And then Andromon is about to execute Mimi, but Gaurdromon grabs hold of his leg, and then this causes Andromon to step on and just murder Gaurdromon. And this makes Mimi angry, and she says that she won't forgive Andromon, and she starts tearing up and says that she'll never ever forgive him, and this activates Mimi's crest, and Togemon evolves to Lilymon in a really cool scene and I've always liked this imagery, we have Lilymon blossom out of the the flower on Togemon's head, which I always thought there should be like a Togemon corpse lying around whenever Lilymon evolves.
Yeah. What I wanted was just like the corpse of Togemon to still be holding up the block.
Yeah.
Either that or at least give me a, like, it breaks into polygons at the end.
Yeah.
You know, a little something.
Yeah, a little something. Because it makes sense, because Lilymon she's not evolving from Togemon, she's coming out of Togemon.
She's making it even clearer that she's gay.
Yeah. She's coming out of her cactus and she's doing just okay.
She's still digivolving from Togemon, even if this like animation is Togemon blooming and releasing the Lilymon.
I mean, that was also true in Adventure, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just very much the same animation.
Yeah.
It's nice though. I kind of like that it's the same animation because it makes sense that she would just come out of the little. Because I always thought it was hair on top of Togemon's head, but it's the flower, which makes sense.
It's a bloom.
Yeah.
I need to ask something. I need to ask something. I've not considered this before, but does Togemon have fingers inside of the boxing glove?
I think no, because the boxing gloves are part of her.
I don't know.
But
we seen
are they just hollow?
Things?
No, I think they're just solid.
No, because she bends her well, I assume her fingers to like grip the block.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like
that's why I'm wondering. Like, does she have cactus
she has
hands?
An opposable thumb in there.
I always thought, you know how cactus fruit can be like different colors? I just thought they were big cactus fruit, and she kind of can just control them.
That would be great.
Or flowers,
I want there to be a time that Togemon, and I wish they were doing the weird, ridiculous, glowing different colors instead of going straight to evolving for everybody. Just because Togemon glowing green and pulling off the gloves, I'd love it forever.
Yeah, I like that.
I think I'm going with the thumb and then just like mitten hands.
Mass.
Yeah. I just like them being fruit or flowers.
If it was fruit, though, then she could eat her own boxing gloves.
That's a really disturbing thought.
I don't think cactuses eat their own flowers.
Cactuses don't eat, but this one's alive and has a mouth.
They eat. They eat sun and they eat water.
Yeah, but this one has a mouth, so it must eat solid foods, surely.
I'm gonna buy a cactus.
Do it.
Anyway,
give it
Lilymon
boxing gloves.
says that I will give a little boxing gloves and a little bit of a hair and a little bit of a mouth. Anyway, Lilymon says that Mimi's sorrow and anger made her evolve, and I'm really glad that Metal Greymon's only here to stop the others from being squished by the machinery because he does nothing else this episode, and I feel like that's perfect. So Lilymon shoots her flower cannon and says that Mimi's pain is her attack, basically, and that was pretty metal.
Yeah.
Her vines grow over Gaurdromon, which is so much better than in her original evolution episode where she was just like, she put a friendship bracelet around Dark Tyrannomon's neck and kind of just made him nice. This is so much better because she actually kills him. So vines grow over Gaurdromon and turns the ruins into this really nice mossy area, and this whole scene just reminds me of Laputa Castle in the Sky because we have a giant sort of decrepit robot just hanging out.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a lot of nice imagery here. So then Lilymon looks concerned at Mimi, who bursts into tears, and then in the next scene we see Mimi putting the flower on Gaurdromon and paying her respects. And once she's done, Mimi says that they have to press on, which is just, it's really nice that she wants to pay respects to fallen allies, and this is the same as in the original series, but it's also nice that she's not going to mourn forever. She knows that there's something to be done. There's something that needs to be done by her. So she'll take a quick minute to pay her respects and, to the Gaurdromon who saved her, but she's not going to just sort of dwell on it because she has stuff to do, and I just really like that. Mimi is the best girl, now, then, forever. What are your highlights? Mimi, yeah, same. My massive highlight, well, I have two massive highlights besides Mimi, because I can't just say Mimi, because otherwise that'd just be my answer for everything positive.
Just always say Mimi.
My first highlight is the fact that the other kids still participated. They still helped out, because if Mimi was just sort of by herself, it wouldn't make sense that Koshiro and Taichi wouldn't try to save her when they know exactly she's fallen down that hole. Of course they'd come after her. When they get attacked by Digimon, of course they'd evolve. When they see an ultimate level Digimon, of course that they would evolve to their highest form. That would make sense if they just sort of stood there and were just like, oh, Mimi, be careful. I feel like that'd be sort of weird, and I would be complaining about why they didn't evolve, because even though it'd be more Mimi focused, it would make no sense for them to not evolve when they can if they didn't give us a reason, and that would be a complaint. but they still evolved. Kabuterimon got reverted to Tentomon, and Metal Greymon spent his time holding up machinery, and so the other kids don't get, smushed by machinery. So that's fine. I don't mind that. So that's definitely a highlight, the fact that it was Mimi focused, but it didn't take away from other characters in a way that would be a weird writing choice. My second highlight is definitely this episode is so pretty, and so it's definitely the imagery for this episode. Now, I'm not sure if the Studio Ghibli references were on purpose, or if that's just what it reminded me of, but it just definitely reminded me of Studio Ghibli, and those two movies in particular, Princess Mononoke and Castle in the Sky.
Sure.
Because of those two scenes that just reminded me so much of them. Like, either the person who animated this episode or people were huge fans of Studio Ghibli, or if it's just a really nice choice, it's a complete coincidence, I don't know. But again, the imagery is just so pretty, and I know I mentioned this before, but I'll say again, the contrast between the dark, dirty black and grey colours of the ruins, and at the end of the episode in particular, it's this sort of mossy, greenery, beautiful place of nature. It's just a really nice choice of contrast because it makes Mimi and Palmon rather, sort of stand out. And it's just a nice setting to have them evolve because it's not just, a greenery forest. It's not another bright place full of bright colours. It's somewhere that's dark, and it just helps Mimi and Palmon and the evolution to stand out so much more, especially because Mimi basically changes the entire area, or Lilymon rather, changes the entire area to this beautiful, beautiful place, and it's really nice, and the imagery is just really good, and the animation is, I think, better than what we've seen in the last few episodes. Maybe not as good as the first, 3 episodes, but definitely of a better quality, and it's just really nice. It's pretty to look at, the story is good, and it makes sense that the other characters would have evolution episodes. Everyone is doing something in this episode, and I really appreciate that, and basically those are my main highlights. I know I have more, but I've more or less mentioned them in this episode, but those are my 2, besides Mimi, highlights that just stand out and make this episode what it is.
Yeah. Very solid. In addition to all of that, I have one that is really close to my heart, which is that 20 years of Digimon has trained me to stop noticing that missiles made of Gatling guns are the most ridiculous idea in the world.
Oh yes, definitely. Digimon does a lot of things that, in real life or in any other franchise, would seem completely ridiculous, but Digimon just sort of makes us accept it and go, oh yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
Just high tech.
Metal Greymon's missiles fish.
I love the fish missiles.
I do too, but I still don't understand it.
Oh no, I don't understand either. I just love it.
Did Metal Greymon fire missiles? Because I thought his attack now is just blasts come out of his chest.
I think he just
Andromon fired missiles.
But
I think he didn't attack much, Metal Greymon. I feel like he just
He did his Giga Storm
was
still.
there. Yeah, but he didn't attack as much as we've seen him before, and that kind of makes sense because if he did, he would kind of
he would win.
Cave in the whole place.
Yeah, he was too slow to get past Andromon.
Yeah.
And wasn't strong enough to actually defeat it.
Yeah. And Stevie, any highlights?
Gaurdromon is good. He is good.
Gaurdromon is good.
It is good.
Gaurdromon is a big highlight. Yeah.
I don't know if Gaurdromon has a gender.
Well, I think all the robot Digimon are just kind of gender neutral. I think all
They were
Digimon
good
are gender
then.
neutral, but some have preference.
Yeah.
We have all Digimon, or most Digimon being do not have gender, but then there's Angelomon who does have gender.
Yeah.
And Lady Devimon has gender.
I liked that the spot that Mimi wiped off was there throughout the whole episode.
Yeah, that was really nice, and it's not often we see something that lasts and persists through the whole episode, and it kind of makes sense because it was a key moment, but Digimon has forgotten things like that before.
It was nice.
I demand
bit of attention to detail.
that Devimon become gender neutral and we have a Lord Devimon.
Oh, but
Lord
wasn't Devimon
isn't
called
gender
Lord
neutral.
before? I think you're right. I think Lord is...
Lord is
Yeah.
masculine because you have
Typically
Lord and Lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, if we're gonna have a Lady Devimon, there should be a Lord Devimon, and then
No,
just
we have
Devimon, who is they them.
Well, we already have
Jarl
Devimon.
Y'all Devimon.
Yeah, it's Jarl
The one
Devimon.
who
It's
doesn't participate in the monarchy.
he just has or they have a cowboy hat, and they're like, Jarl, and everyone just goes, Jarl. And it's back to our discussion from the last episode, which is just Jarl is such a good gender neutral term.
It really is.
I'm a big Jarl advocate. in both ways. I advocate Jarl, as in Jarl, but I also advocate the use of Jarl.
Yeah, I like it. It works
I like
on
Jarl.
exactly 2 levels.
Yeah. So, any other highlights?
This episode's quite
learn
sad if you imagine that Andromon basically realised that they were being brainwashed and then was imprisoned inside this grass for the rest of his existence.
Yeah,
It's
I was here
extremely
for.
sad. Yeah, but it sort of, it makes sense. Like, if somebody's attacking you, brainwashed or not, you'll do whatever it takes to make that person stop.
Yeah. That does bring me into a concern
Andromon...
that I have.
Yeah, what's the concern?
I'm still doing highlight.
Yeah, Stevie.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just saying that, like, Andromon's a robot Digimon. He could be there for centuries or even millennia. Just thinking, like, I was brainwashed for a day and I've been trapped here for thousands of years just to regret what I've done.
When he comes back in 02:, we can have, or maybe it'll come out in 2 years and it'll be, instead of 02, it'll be 22. Digimon Adventure 22: we'll still have Andromon appear in an episode, but now this time, instead of being under the control of like a dark ring, he is just really, really mad because somebody imprisoned him for like all those years.
That's great.
And he's just tinged green.
Yeah, he's just a green Andromon now. He's like this cool like plant hybrid of Andromon.
Ooh.
Like a new Digimon completely.
Version, rusted Andromon.
I want him to be blue because he's all
Gaurdromon.
rusted.
Oh, blue would be fine.
Yeah.
Hi Andromon is like black and blue, I think.
Yeah, and he's got red on him as well.
Hi Andromon's cool.
I generally think that like if Andromon comes back in this season, I think he's going to come back as Hi Andromon, and
it's just say hi
because
he just shows up and says hi.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to evolve. But anyway, I feel like, and I've been collecting the new card game, I've been noticing that a lot of the characters that have either showed up as the monsters of the week or are in any episode just sort of there are in the card game at the moment. So I feel like Hi Andromon being in the card game makes me think that we might actually get Hi Andromon in the show.
That would be really cool.
And also we get Ogumon's ultimate form, Titamon, in the card game as well.
Nice.
So that's cool. But highlights before we move on to concerns.
I like that this whole episode didn't just focus on Izzy and the ruins too much.
Yeah. I like that. I think that, so we're sort of jumping between characters at the moment. So we obviously have Biyomon next week. I feel like we're going to have Koshiro the week after. So episode 14 I feel like will be Koshiro.
Yeah, it makes sense if they're swapping groups.
Yeah, and then they'll still be in the ruins, so Koshiro gets his ruins, and then we'll be Joe afterwards. Well, I guess that's the only way it can be, because everyone else has evolved, unless we take a big break from evolutions like the original adventure did.
I hope we don't do that again.
Yeah, me too. It was sort of weird how we sort of had an evolution every week, and then we had one episode without an evolution, then we had Gaurdromon to Gaurdromon, and then we had like a huge break until Lilymon, and then we had Zudomon, and then we had Angemon a couple of episodes later, and then we had a huge break, and then we had Magna Angemon.
That's fair.
And that was awful. I would prefer if they just get all the evolutions out of the way so they can go back to the main plot.
I mean, I don't prefer this where they're like speedrunning it, but if they're going to speedrun it, at least actually speedrun it.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying.
No, I completely understand.
So if they're going to do it this way, at least double down on it. Don't quit
definitely.
halfway.
And also, getting these evolutions out of the way now will mean the sooner we evolve to as in Mega Ultimate, the sooner that means we get to find TK and Kari and add them to the party, because I think they'll already be at the fully evolved form.
Which is also its own thing. But anyway, so the concern that I had...
we're on to lowlights?
I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
Lowlights time. Quinn, go off.
This isn't definitely a lowlight yet, but we've almost certainly killed off Ogremon. I really don't think anyone actually expects to see him back.
I think we will, but I think that's when we learn about Digimon being reborn, because we haven't learned that Digimon can be reborn yet.
That's fair. And then we have possibly permanently killed off Andromon, and I'm really hoping that this does not turn into a press the kill button to increase suspense or tension and prove that this is dark and edgy Digimon. Please don't do that.
It's not been that so far.
Not so far, but I'm worried it will become that if ratings dip at all.
They've not ruminated on killing anything like at all yet.
Yeah.
Like they've killed Scorpiomon and Metal
That's
Tyrannomon
true.
already and just didn't like
I think there's
hesitate.
something to be said about, oh yeah, we're gonna keep killing off all of your old friends from Adventure to prove how edgy we are.
I don't think we've killed Andromon, but as I said, I'm all for him coming back in Digimon Adventure 22 with him just being kind of a little bit mad.
No, I think
I don't know.
I think if Andromon did come back, he'd be like, "No, I totally get it. Like, I killed your friend."
Yeah.
He'd just be
Well,
reasonable
that'd
about
be
it.
logical. Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty certain they're
Yeah.
both actually just sort of dead down there now.
Well, yeah, it's great imagery though. But it'd be nice if we revisit this area later on, just because it's just really pretty.
Let's go
I
visit the
don't
graves
have
of those machine Digimon.
I don't
Just
have any
'cause.
lowlights. This was a perfect episode, by the way.
I don't think
me.
I'd go that far. Not for me.
Do we have any other lowlights or concerns?
But I'm very concerned that we're going to get Metal Greymon or Gaurdromon every episode because they are the main boys and they must have all the Digivolutions.
I think if we do, I feel like we should also get Lilymon every episode, or any
I don't think
perfect
that'll
level that we
happen.
already have. But it logically it should happen. As I said, it makes sense that Metal Greymon evolves in this episode because he can and he wants to save his friends. That's reasonable. I think it'll be annoying.
What I'm saying is Matt and
Yeah.
Ty are going to get the special treatment, get all the Digivolutions while everyone else kind of just gets put on the back burner sometimes.
I don't think
Because
that
like
would happen.
in past episodes we've already had like we get Gaurdromon, but all the other Pi members don't do stuff.
But in this episode, everyone did do something, and I think
Yeah, when there was
a lot
three
of
of
people
them.
said that.
When there was
Yeah,
three of them, but when
so-
they're all back together, especially, I don't think we're going to see everyone Digivolve every
I
episode.
think we'll get most Digivolving.
I
Maybe
think
not all, but
we'll always get Matt and Ty Digivolving. We won't always get all the other kids Digivolving.
I'm still going to be hopeful about them not having to do that. Like, it'll be fine when they evolve, when it makes sense to evolve, but I don't think it's going to be always Matt and Ty.
We will see. But that's the impression I'm getting, is that they're very much like the two main boys, and they're going to
Yeah, but
favour
that's just-
Digivolving
but that's
them over
Digimon.
everyone else.
It's not going to be Frontier levels of favouring the two main boys, though.
Well, I mean, that's impossible because we've got 3 times the amount of female characters
Yeah,
when
well,
Kari
even
appears.
at the moment, 2 times, but the characters just... Mimi is so much better than any other... than Zoe in Season 4. But any other lowlights?
I mentioned my thing about Gaurdromon being a red shirt not being
Yeah.
the best thing.
Yeah, that was a bit too quick.
I still didn't mind it though. Like I felt like it was still a good amount of emotional with the time that they had.
Yeah.
I did also feel like having the badass extreme music playing. I think it was when Metal Greymon digivolved, or like when Metal Greymon appeared. Kind of just like
Yeah, because that
really ruined
that's-
the mood
that's the
for when Gaurdromon died.
yeah that's just Hey Digimon playing like that. That's just the evolution song.
Yeah, but like they played it for Metal Greymon.
Yeah,
That's weird. When Lilymon came around,
Yeah.
and I don't think Lilymon got the same song.
no, she got like dramatic music, which actually I feel like fit a lot better.
Yeah, but it was just kind of a real shift in mood from, yeah, this is awesome, Metal Greymon's winning, to, oh, Gaurdromon's dead now. Ain't this real sad?
That makes sense. That does make sense.
So-
Any other lowlights? Are we ready to move on to comparisons with the original series?
I don't like that they include the Digivolution names in the title of the episode, because it just means
that's-
you know exactly what's coming. And
That's kind of
what's the point?
normal.
Why does Japan do this?
I don't know. Well, it's now we've also got English translated names, which aren't just like literal translations, and those also use them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the English names are different from the actual episode titles.
It's
But, Ed, want to move on to comparisons with the original series?
Sure.
So, this episode had, when not in the same flow as the original series, because we're getting Lilymon evolving. Lilymon's the third evolution to Ultimate episode. And that's kind of surprising and nice to see. I'm glad that we get her instead of having all the boys and then the girls being like a couple of the last ones.
So episode 12 was Legend of the Digidestined. The
We're still in
original.
ruins.
Legend
it's
of the
still Mimi and
Digidestined in
Kotaro?
the original series. No, wait, was it Digibaby Boom first? Yeah, it was Digibaby Boom was episode 12, I think.
Oh, really?
Right.
So,
Just look it up. I think it was Digibaby
Yeah,
Boom.
No, that makes sense because the one where they evolve to Angemon is episode 13.
Yeah, that is 13. Is Legend
And
of the Digidestined.
episode 11 is the Ruins one. I always get confused between Legend of the Digidestined and Clue from the Digipast, which is the Ruins episode.
Wait, it goes Sub-Zero, Ice Punch, Dancing Digimon. Or does it go Clue from the Digipast and then Dancing Digimon?
I think Dancing Digimon was first.
Yeah. So yeah, Clue from Digipast is the 11th, and then Digibaby Boom.
Yeah.
Needless to say,
So, yeah,
this doesn't cover anything to do with like Digimon being born and raised. We don't know how that works yet.
Know. We still don't know about Digi-Eggs in this season. I would assume that they still are reborn from Digi-Eggs, but we don't know.
Like, I think we've seen Digi-Eggs in the opening sequence, like the bit before the actual episode starts at all.
Yeah, we've seen it before the episode, but we haven't, and hatching into the Botamon, but we don't actually see any of them actually animated.
Yeah, there hasn't been any confirmation yet as to how death or birth works in the digital world.
Yeah, but
maybe it'll come up.
So it's pretty different from the original series, and I'm just a fan that Lilymon is the third evolution episode. It's not going in the same format as before.
Yeah.
Where I'm fairly certain that the evolutions to adult were in the same pattern as the evolutions to ultimate, or perfect rather.
It might be very close.
Yeah. Oh no. No. I think it is the same. I think it goes. Gaurdromon's isn't in the same order as because she's third in the evolving to adult, but she's like fourth or fifth evolving to perfect.
That sounds right. Yeah.
But all the other ones are the same sort of pattern. But I'm all for Mimi being third. That's great. It's much better than doing all the blokes first and then doing the girls last.
The blokes. They're not old enough to be blokes.
Well, maybe they are.
They're not. Taichi is not a bloke.
I remember wasn't he called a bloke in the subtitles for wasn't he called like a top bloke or something in the subtitles or the dub or something? I can't remember.
If he was, he shouldn't have been because he's just not.
Yeah,
he's just not old. What?
Instead of that man, that bloke Joe Kiddo.
That bloke Joe Kiddo. That's great.
No, they are not blokes.
No, kiddo. Anyway, any other comparisons? Or are we ready to move on to favourite characters?
So they basically took bits and pieces from the original series. So you've got like Gaurdromon from the factory that made no sense. You've got the ruins from Clues from the Digipast. But unlike like previous episodes where they've ripped elements, this actually felt like they did something new with it. Because there wasn't any Gaurdromon, so that's just been added. It's completely new, and like the plot line's totally different. It isn't just like everyone's wandering around kind of lost and confused, trying to figure out what the factory does.
You mean you can make a sort of semi-reference to the episode where Mimi's crest did activate, but she didn't get an evolution, which was the Shogun Gekomon episode. Metal Greymon showed up to save the day and did all the fighting, and Mimi just sort of was there.
That's very loose, but at least this was actually a Mimi Digivolution episode, unlike that one.
Yeah, and also the end of Mimi's evolution episode to Lilymon in the original had her basically be unconscious and turn to stone at the end of the episode. But I prefer it a lot better than I love Flower Power as an episode. It's probably one of my favorites, but I think this was better than Flower Power on the basis that Lilymon's fight just felt like more of a fight. She didn't just sort of pacify the bad guy, and she didn't get turned to stone and die at the end.
Fair.
Any other comparisons?
I get the distinct impression that they've kind of just given up the meaning of the crests in favour of just they have strong emotions now, which feels just a lot more generic shonen, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's still there's still like a little bit of a reference to the crest, like they're still showing traits from that crest, but I feel like it's already part of their nature to have that. They are strong emotions.
Like, was Mimi's purity in Japanese originally?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
And like in this, it was just said it was her sorrow and anger, which doesn't feel like much to do with purity. I always thought that her purity is more like her being genuine and pure to her emotions. Which is what Mimi always was whenever she had like an evolution episode. She was always very honest, and that's the meaning of purity, and that's why it's translated as sincerity, and that's why there's a lot of sort of
confusion between Joe's crest and Mimi's crest because they're very similar. I always thought that Joe's was his honesty to his words to others, and Mimi's is just her honesty in terms of her emotions to herself. Yeah. So that's just the way I've always interpreted those crests. Anything else?
This is like 20-something episodes earlier than Flower Power.
Yeah.
They really are speedrunning these.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm curious to see
what are they going to do for the other 50 episodes?
Well, we know that they're all going to get to their ultimate level forms.
That's only like another 8 episodes.
And we also have to meet Hikari and TK and find out about what's happening there.
That's like 3.
Yeah.
Where are the other 40 episodes coming from?
Hopefully the plot instead of evolving.
I like plot.
Yeah, I think it'll be plot.
I hope it's a good plot and not just like multiple villain arcs where it's just defeat the villain every time.
No, I think we haven't really defeated any villains yet. And
We're still on the first villain arc.
Yeah, we're still on the first villain who may just evolve to the second villain. We don't know.
What if he just becomes Malamyotismon?
That'd be fine.
And then takes them all to the weird dimension and then becomes a big mouth and just eats them all.
Yeah, terrifying, but alright.
What if Takeru becomes the Kaiser?
Can we move on to favourite characters?
Mimi.
Sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mine's Mimi too. Like, I'm not going to surprise anyone with that. Mine's Mimi. Stevie.
My neighbour Gaurdromon.
That's fair.
Yeah, I was actually going to choose Gaurdromon, but I couldn't not choose Mimi, so I'll put in Gaurdromon as Stevie's choice, which is a fair choice because
I refuse to choose Mimi because you two both keep choosing Mimi, so it needs to balance out.
Okay, I would like to argue that point. I have chosen Mimi once before this. Stevie, you have chosen Mimi 3 times before this.
I feel like I've chosen it whenever you've not chosen it because you didn't want to just choose Mimi.
Quinn has also chosen Mimi just once before, so both of us are sitting at... So Quinn and myself have chosen Mimi twice. You have chosen Mimi 3 times.
I choose Mimi when both of you want to, but don't because you feel like you should choose someone else.
That's not what the numbers say.
That's not true. You chose Mimi last time, and Mimi just fell down a hole, and that was her participation.
Did I?
Yes.
What was I smoking last week?
I don't know, but you chose Mimi.
Maybe I just...
So yeah, call out post to Stevie. Chooses Mimi all the time. But yeah, so that means that I chose Mimi. Stevie chose Gaurdromon, which is a really good choice after Mimi, obviously, and Quinn chose Mimi, so Mimi is good. Next... we rate the episodes, I think. Yes. So I will go first. I gave this episode a 5 out of 5, surprising no one. This episode was perfect to me. I couldn't think of any lowlights. I was a really big fan of the imagery, as I said before, and I really liked the fact that it made sense that the characters would try and find Mimi and would evolve to protect her or protect the idea of not dying. But it was a perfect episode to me. I don't, people might not agree with me because whatever, but this is a 5 out of 5. My last 5 out of 5 was episode 6. I like this episode.
I think you just like Mimi.
Yeah, I like Mimi, but this episode could have also not been good, and I was worried that it was just going to be a Mimi gets rescued episode, and I was worried that it would be like Zoe's evolution episode in Frontier where she evolves but she doesn't win her battle and she just gets defeated. I was worried it was going to be that, but it wasn't, so 5 out of 5 for me. Stevie, what is your rating out of 5?
I think I'll give it a 4.
That's fair. And Quinn?
I don't know, I feel like by picking exactly in the middle of you two, I'm a meme. But I think I'm going to go with a 4.5 because I did really enjoy the episode, but it wasn't perfect to me.
Oh no, we have a tie in our overall now. It's tied for first place with episode 6, which we gave the exact same ratings. I gave a 5, Stevie gave a 4, Quinn gave a 4.5. So
I'm so consistent.
Now I have
We are all a meme.
So, do we like this episode more or less than episode 6? That's the main point.
I liked 6 better, but I can definitely be outvoted.
Well, I guess we'll use our individual rankings to determine where this episode lives in terms of the scales, because the top of our overall is episode 6, 1, and 9. So now it's just to determine whereabouts we put it in our overall. Yeah. So we'll do our rankings now.
I think
I'll do my top.
Can I make a suggestion? Instead of listing our top 3 and bottom 3 every time, we just say the place we want to put it for sake of time.
Okay, yep, that's fair. But I do it for the listeners.
Okay, it's your show.
Yeah.
If you want us to say it, we can.
Yeah, and I will be putting, now we have like a big chunk of episodes, I'm going to be putting this on the website so we can see it just when I have a spare time to put it up on the website. But anyway, and I'll try to do that this week some point. Anyway, so in terms of my top 3, episode 12, I just ruined it. Episode 12 is my top one, surprising no one. Episode 12 is my top one. Episode 6 is in second place. Episode 5 is in third place. From the bottom to the most bottom, we have episode 8, episode 3, and episode 10 is in last place. So as I said, yeah, episode 12, I'm putting that in first place. I really liked this episode, and I will be typing during this moment. So if you hear my terribly, terribly loud blue-capped keyboard, my apologies. So Stevie, where are we putting episode 12?
See, I like to try and keep some sort of consistency, but you've shared like the ranking list, but not the scores, so I don't know where 4 actually comes in that list anymore.
I can give you the score. So which episode did you want to see the rating of?
Just like what was the first?
I think anything with a 4.
Yeah, it's like where are my 4s?
Okay. Episode 1 was a 4, episode 6 was a 4, episode 8 was a 4, and episode you gave episode 9 a 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to work out how much you enjoyed it in terms of 9, 1, 6, and 8. So I guess under 9, but with 1, 6, and 8.
Okay. I guess my top 3 then goes episode 9, episode 1, and then this one, episode 12, takes the 3rd spot.
Cool.
And my bottom
so
3 are episode 3, episode 5, and episode 4 bottom.
Yeah. Quinn, where are we putting this? We need to work out if we're putting it with above or below.
What did I rate episode 1?
Episode 1, we all gave episode 1 a 4.
Okay. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put mine in second place.
Okay, this still makes it hard for me to choose it in the rating, by the way.
Okay, so I've put it above episode 6. Quinn's put it below episode 6, and you've put it above episode 6. So overall, it goes above.
That makes sense.
I would come to that conclusion too. And again, sorry for the typing.
How else would you type?
So our overall, and I may as well just read out our overall. Episode 12, episode 6, episode 1, which is Tokyo Digital Crisis, the first episode, episode 9, The Ultimate Invasion, episode 2, War Game, episode 7, Dat Boy Joe Kado, episode 8, The Chiltern Siege, episode 5, The Holy Digimon, episode 11, The Wolf Standing Atop the Desert, episode 4, Birdramon Source, episode 3, Into Digital World, and episode 10, In Dead Last, The Super Evolution of Steel. So we're getting better with the perfect evolution episode, which is good, because the first one, none of us really particularly liked.
Yeah, it's working its way up.
Or Stevie put it in like the middle, or now the lower middle.
It was always lower middle.
Yeah.
Where it belongs.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
I do want to announce that my phone's on 69% battery.
Nice. Okay, and just before we wrap up, we will be going to Postmon Pat with our questions.
Yeah.
So I'll just read these through quickly because it is getting quite late, and I will have to work soon. So it is 20 past, and I would like to finish soon so I can have breakfast and start work. So because I start at 9. Anyway, so first up, Anthony De La Rosa on YouTube says that they've joked about the series being kind of a secret Frontier reboot disguised as an adventure reboot. Past lives, ancient wars, this extremely long meandering quest to find a holy Digimon, this sort of tonal emphasis on magic and whimsy and everything. But then Namon and Bearmon showed up, and Anthony said they weren't prepared for the joke to get that real. They really don't like what they're doing with TK, just teasing it out and teasing it out and teasing it out and teasing it out, and they don't know what the point is. The bit where Matt finally opens up a little is nice and all and very sweet, but it's not as good as actually letting TK be a character and letting the meat of their family trauma just play out for real. And yeah, I agree with that. I don't know where they're going with TK. I hope it's a good place, but yeah, I especially resonate with it's a Frontier reboot now, or it's a Frontier prequel.
Yeah, it is kind of a Frontier reboot of some kind. So I feel like the good way to do whatever it is they're doing with Takeru and Hikari is, now that you've had a chance to see what Taichi and Yamato look like as characters separate from their siblings, now you can introduce them and see how they deal with that. But I feel like we're not going to get any interesting conflict out of that. I don't think anyone's going to be more risk averse or anything like that for more than maybe an episode.
Yeah.
So I am not super stoked about whatever we're doing unless it does involve somehow either... Well, you know what? Really, at this point, I think the only really good thing to do with them is... Actually, yeah, Telmon and Patamon just are the baddies this time. They got turned.
I want that.
Yeah,
I want that.
It'd be so good.
I mean, you can argue that they've kind of hinted at that already, but I'd be really surprised if they actually do that because it seems sort of very...
I think...
Digimon like safe decisions, and this is not a safe decision.
Yeah, I think we're going to do Frontier again, and they're just going to be in a cage and then die. But probably come back.
And then we have evolution arcs again. Yay.
Yeah.
At least we'll get to cover what a Digi-Egg is because they have not covered Digi-Eggs yet.
It's true.
The next message is from Hey Now Jose on YouTube, who says, this new reboot is really, really hinging on people who have been with the series for long. They haven't even named the crest, and clearly it wouldn't matter. Matt's being a solo guy, but somehow activates his crest. Again, I feel like the crests are more a vague idea. Yamato activates his crest by, I think, experiencing friendship, not necessarily his own friendship, but he witnesses friendship. So he's just more of like the idea of friendship, and he feels like passionate because of those feelings of friendship that he's observing from the other children. And also I genuinely feel like Taichi is probably the first person who's reached out and tried to be his friend, so that might have also helped. But that's just how I'm seeing it. And the crests are more vague, so I don't think that you necessarily need to know what each of them are. And remember, in the original series, we didn't know what each crest meant until Sora relayed the information from Myotismon, which was after we already had a lot of evolutions. We already had Taichi, Yamato, and Koshiro all evolve, and Mimi's crest activated too, and I believe Takaru's crest had activated as well. So we didn't really know any of those names or what the traits were that the crests were focusing on until that part where Sora explained it. So I don't think it's necessarily important that we know the name. Having said that, I believe Koshiro's has been named in this season, and it's Wisdom, that's just how it was written, it's the same as Knowledge. So I don't think it's important for us to know what they're called yet, because in the original, at the point of time of having 3 evolutions to perfect, we didn't know what they were called.
Unless you watch the dub, where they instinctively knew the names of the crests.
Yeah, and they knew the Crest of Sincerity for Mimi, because it was the episode title name, and Agumon also said bring out your courage in a really obvious way that was like, okay, that's his crest.
No, I mean like Taichi got the crest and was immediately like, hey, we got the Crest of Courage.
Oh yeah, that's right. And in Yamato says the crest of friendship when Gaurdromon is evolving, but that again is in the dub. So in the original we didn't actually know any of the crest names until actually Gaurdramon's episode. So I would imagine that if we find out the crest names, it won't be now, because we've had 3 evolutions. It'll be sometime later, I would assume. But that's just my take on it. Like, in the original, we didn't know the crest names either at this point.
I think they're just going for the whole shonen power scaling route instead of actually caring about the meaning of the crests all that much.
It's very much tied to emotions still. Like, it's different emotions for each child, but it is still emotions. I feel like in Koshiro's episode, we will find out the names of the crests. I feel like he's just going to read about them and that'll activate his crest. I don't know. But it's fine that we don't know the names, because in the original we didn't know the names either.
If they have new names? So, like, Matt has the crest of Edge Ship.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Next message is from Annabelle on YouTube, who says Digimon 2020 has a really interesting take on violence right now. It took nearly a decade for the original series to finally be a little gruesome, but even then it stays quite kid-friendly. Right now we still don't know about the version of Primary Village, and this makes Annabelle wonder if it will somehow impact how the group will act towards future fights. But now we have very dead Sandbucks, Tankmons on the beach, almost dead Palmon, no more shying away from violence, which means that Leomon better have the most beautifully animated death scene in the series, and probably will happen. Yeah, I agree with that. Except Adventure did definitely sort of had a lot of deaths that was sort of like, oh, we just yeeted him off a cliff. Oh, we just yeeted him into the ocean. And that's sort of censored. But I feel like Angemon and Devimon deaths were very sort of... They weren't gruesome, but they were very much sad.
Yeah, we've had sad deaths before.
Yeah. But again, yeah, it hasn't ever gotten that... Tamers did have Leomon's death being quite... Like, he got, like, a hole in his chest. Like, that's pretty gruesome. So I wouldn't necessarily say it took a decade, because Tamers was, like, 2003. And, yeah, I hope that if Leomon does have a death, at least they make it pretty. I hope. The next is Nose Lee on YouTube, who says that they can see the story convenience of Devimon evolving into Myotismon, but why limit him to that form when Neo Devimon exists? Or we get a giant Devimon after absorbing dozens of Ultimate Digimon. And yeah, we saw Devimon do that in the original series, so it wouldn't surprise me if we just had Devimon absorb a bunch of his army again, but since his army's bigger this time, it sort of is more horrifying. Next we have Suck634 on YouTube, who asks us, how do we think Leomon will die in 2020?
Quickly.
Yeah, I think he's going to show up, and then I think we're going to get to know him maybe for most of the episode, and then he's going to sacrifice himself in that episode.
I give him like
he's going to be more than
episodes.
a one and done.
I think he's going to be a one and done. I think he's just going to be Gaurdromon, but this time a lion.
God, I really hope that's not true, if only so that we're not just kind of repeating the same-ish arc, but with the other three people.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely hope that we actually get something, but... Because, as I said, Gaurdromon's fine dying in this one episode, being quick, because it sort of is... I wouldn't want to make him a whole character, because it would make this episode just like, why would maybe be emotional? Killing someone is a catalyst for being emotional. On the other hand, it is possible that Leomon's already dead when we get there. Like, because we don't know if we're going to see Leomon and hang out with him.
That's true. Although I feel like we're going to get him around for at least 4 episodes before he gets offed.
I think it's either going to be 0 or 1. 0 meaning he's already dead.
I don't really care what they do with Leomon, as long as it's not Leomon gets brainwashed again for an arc. Because that would just make me so disappointed.
The Soundbirdmon's whole thing is brainwashing.
Which is why I don't want Leomon brainwashed again.
Oh, neither do I.
I don't want Series 1, but again.
I'm curious if we'll ever see Mimi be like, oh shit, that was real screwed up to trap that guy who was being brainwashed for the rest of eternity.
That'll be her evolution to Rosemon.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That would actually be
Also,
the time
she was
for
mad.
Hyandramon to show up.
Yeah. And then Rosemon fights him. I can totally see that being like a whole thing.
That could be kind of great.
Like, we have War Greymon against Titamon, and then we have Rosemon against Hyandramon. Also, I'm not looking forward to Rosemon because I don't really like Rosemon's design. I feel like it's...
If they have fucking jiggle physics again...
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I don't want jiggle physics. I really like Lilymon because she's sort of adorable and cute, but I feel like Rosemon's jiggle physics never makes sense, and I'm not a big fan of that. She can look cool without the jiggles, but whatever.
It goes from like Lilymon, who is a pixie, to Rosemon, who is a dominatrix.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really necessarily mind that. I just feel like it's not. I don't like the physics involved.
Yeah, her breasts just having a weird gravitational field that always tries to pull them behind as she turns is just too much.
Yeah, in Sabers it's the worst. Yeah. But yeah, anyway. Gleaming Gamore on Tumblr says they notice that everyone is doing something in every episode. No character steals the show. In another's Evolution episode, but they're still active. Next they say they're not a fan of Super Evolution not having a catalyst as it feels quick, but they can believe that Taichi was charged with more emotional energy after fighting Ogremon. And then they say that kids are clearly a source of power and not just for evolution, and we see this when Gaurdromon gains speed with the Crest evolution. First of all, the first note in this is that how everyone's participating in an Evolution episode, no one's really stealing the show from that main person. I completely agree with that, and I'm a big fan of it too. We had Sora being actually a really good character in the Where Garurumon episode, where she actually stood up and had a personality. I'm a big fan of that, and I'm also a big fan of the fact that it would make sense that Metal Greymon and Kabutorimon would show up when their friend was in danger. That's fine. So yeah, I don't mind the... Yeah, I agree with Gleaming Gamore here on the no character steals the show, but they still kind of participate.
Yeah.
And with the next point... Yep.
I will say, I really don't think we're ever going to get special glowy powers again. Just ever.
Yeah.
We might do, like,
Like,
right
as in
before
power-ups?
Mega Level.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, the special half-step power-up that Gaurdromon got, I don't think will become a regular thing. I think it should be.
I hope we did, because we saw Gaurdromon get it last episode.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And I kind of like that as a bit of a step before. We didn't see it... I don't think we saw it with Togemon. But
I'm pretty sure not.
I also would like to think that Palmon already got that power-up with Togemon as... like at some point before she met the kids, because she was there before them. So I don't know. But yeah, I kind of like the power up emotion as like a step before the
I'm here for it.
the actual evolution. But we haven't seen it with Greymon. We've only seen it with Gaurdromon and Birdramon, right?
I think we've seen it with Greymon, like right before the Rogemon fight was interrupted.
Oh really? Oh, I
think-
don't
Maybe I
remember
just
it.
don't remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it...
Like, it was
No,
about to happen, but then they got smushed by Metal Tyrannomon.
No, I mean, maybe,
Mm.
yeah. I will be curious to see if that continues to be a thing now that we've gone up to perfect.
I think it will, because I still want them to use their adult forms. I don't want them just to forget adult forms exist once they get to perfect.
No, I feel like the
Fair
adult
enough.
forms will keep appearing for 30 seconds and then they'll digivolve to Ultimate.
I don't want that. I want them to,
Have
gauge power
circumstances.
differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, that's it. That's it for the letters.
yeah.
Any other thoughts about discussion, or can we wrap this up?
The opportunity never arose, but I just need to say, okay, Bloomer.
Alright everyone, thanks for listening, and you can join us next time for episode 13, Gaurdromon of the Crimson Wings. Now, do we have any predictions for this episode?
None whatsoever. Who knows what could happen?
I don't know either. I mean, I sort of only half watched the next time ons, so...
Yeah, I didn't watch
Yeah,
it all this week.
I've never heard of
I just watched them for
Gaurdromon
the
before.
title.
Yeah, who might that be?
I'm here for a trans king. That's what I'm here for.
Damn right.
I stan a cat trans king. But yeah, I don't really have any predictions. I have hopes. I hope that Sora continues on with this character that we saw briefly in the last episode. I want more of that.
Do you think she will feel her love?
Yeah, I hope so.
I think Sora has the crest
any-
of concern this time.
The crest of standing up to Yamato and punching him in the face, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Women can't be violent.
I really hope that it's not like a
She has
shipping
helmet for
episode.
that. It's gonna be a shipping episode.
I don't want to ship it. I don't
No.
want to ship 10-year-olds.
I don't either, but it's gonna
This
happen.
Why would this be a shipping episode?
Because they
Because-
intentionally split up Yamato and Sora from Taichi.
Just ship Joe and Gomamon instead.
Damn right.
Yes, as friends.
Exactly.
I mean, you could just say that this could be love between friends. It doesn't necessarily have to be love between partners as relationship, as in
I agree,
romance.
but I think we're gonna get at least some degree of bonding between those two that will be ambiguously shippable.
But yeah, I guess that's it for predictions. Anything
I
else to
I
say?
think if they have the shipping moment, I just want Joe to throw up immediately after and just kill it.
The best.
Yeah, that works.
Gomamon
Any other
just
predictions
marches some fishes at them.
Stop
Anyway,
catfishing each
any
other.
other-
No.
No, the predictions.
All right, so we can let's wrap this up. So the link dump's linked in the description, and a Redbubble's also linked in the description, and you get more than just shirts there too. I think they added masks recently, because that's a thing. Got to get money off that sweet pandemic. Just get money from everything is what people are doing now. Just like everyone who can sells their own masks and charges a lot. But anyway, so you can contact us and stay updated. You can email I already messed up. Email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on our website, LostinTranslationmon.com. You can also follow us at TranslationMon on Twitter, and you can find us on Lost in Translation on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will, and a red thread in the Digimon subreddit. And we would appreciate it, any Apple podcast or any podcast listening service reviews, and we'll read them out if you
I'm
leave
sorry,
a review.
the
So
funniest
please.
thing just happened.
What happened?
I picked up the laser pointer, and Yumi came over and batted at my laser pointer.
Aw, cat.
She knows.
Cat.
Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, please. No, that was important. Our listeners need to know about the cat updates. If you have pets, please send me updates. We will also read them on air, especially
Yes.
if they're somewhat Digimon related. Anyway, you can donate to our Patreon, which is in the description, from as little as $1 a month. That gets you access to a listed Discord server, but there are higher levels with more rewards such as notes, early episodes, and more. And thank you to our supporters on Patreon, Joe, Anime Guy, who's Anime Guy Kurosaki1 on YouTube, Stephen Reeves, who's Wildwing64 on Archive Our Own, Kaidawashi, Chisai, who can follow on Tumblr at Chisai236, Kyle, Tom, Lismet, who's Elecmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Metal Maimon, Sam, Spiral, Keith from Gone Will Hunting, a Hunter x Hunter rewatch podcast, Silverhead Freak 25, Magnus, and Lucas. You can also make a donation on PayPal, which you found in the description. It's paypal.me/Gaurdromon, or you can also donate to me on my coffee account, ko-fi.com/Airdra. And of course, thank you for joining me, Stevie.
You're welcome. I think you should thank Quinn as well. There we go.
Oh, yeah, I am. But yes, of course, thank you for joining me, and obviously you can listen to the three of us on the Moncast. Is there any way else we can find you in any other way besides the Moncast?
You can find me
stop asking,
crying
Jesus.
into my sheets after every recording.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's valid.
But yeah, so thanks for listening. I'm going to go eat breakfast and start work soon. So thank you for listening, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
Bye!